welcome to Reality Check. It's been close to 72 hours since the government's dramatic move to strip Jammu and Kashmir of statehood and of special powers. For a move that we are told is meant to benefit Kashmiris, the one missing piece in this 72 hours of non-stop commentary and analysis and punditry are the Kashmiris themselves. What do they think? How will they react to this news? Which is why I thought tonight it would be just a show, a program of voices of Kashmiris. But it's not easy. The state remains in lockdown and Kashmiris outside the state are reluctant to speak publicly. Since the morning, I spoke to close to a dozen Kashmiris based in Delhi, Bombay and so on to persuade them to come on the show. These are some of the answers I heard. A shawl designer told me, I have a lot to say, but I'm afraid. A journalist told us, my family is in Kashmir, would rather not speak. A filmmaker told me I would not want my name to come anywhere. An academic said, I have family in Kashmir, I don't want to put them at risk. An exporter of handicraft said, it's not safe for me to speak out. This silence and this fear and this clampdown seems unlikely that we'll get answers soon because it's not clear when the government will lift the lockdown. Information remains scarce and confusing. On one hand, there's news of a greater troop build-up and of deepening crackdowns. On the other, the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval travelled to the valley, which has resulted in videos like the kind that you're seeing on the screen being released by the government. So, on one hand, 5 lakh troops in the valley, a communication lockdown that continues, access to Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah completely cut off, locals allowed to move only for emergencies, and then on the other, Mr. Doval's what can be called quote-unquote normalcy tour. Is this peace building or is this a PR stunt? These are all questions that remain difficult to answer as long as the flow of information remains restricted. Let's go across to my colleague Nazir Masoodi, who is in Srinagar and has been reporting this right throughout. So Nazir, try to put this in context for us, for viewers watching outside of Jammu and Kashmir, that on the one hand we have news of a deepening of the crackdown, of more troops coming in, of the communication blackout, no sign of that being lifted. And on the other hand, you have Mr. Doval, who has gone to South Kashmir, which is the hotbed of unrest, of separatist unrest, and appears to be suggesting that all is well.
Very true. And I have been struggling to find a person here in the valley who sides with India today. There are people who have sided with India, Union of India, with the democracy. They're all in jail. There are more than 100 former MLAs, former ministers, and also 2 former chief ministers who have been jailed. Why? They have been opposing scrapping Article 370 and transforming and reducing a state with its own constitution and flag as union territory. Since then, politics in Kashmir has changed forever. Narrative has changed forever. Those who sided with India and opposed militancy and separatism are completely on the different side now. They say they have lost their narrative, they have lost their politics, they have lost their standpoint. And the common people, they are really suffering in the valley.
Okay.
Go to a hospital and you will hear the story.
Right.
Go to an ambulance group and see whether they are getting the emergency calls. So
Nazir,
on an average,
we're actually going to play that. You sent us a piece from, I believe it was a hospital. But Nazir, do then try to reconcile what you're saying with these Doval videos of him walking around Shopian. How does one explain that? Is this just a kind of publicity stunt, or how does one explain it?
I believe yes, that is a publicity stunt, nothing else. If it was so, then there should not have been any curfew. And I yesterday went to the downtown Srinagar. A man, blind man, old man, was being helped by a person to cross the road. And he heard we are journalists there, we are speaking. He said, I'll also speak. He said, I said, what do you want to talk? He said, I want to talk what they have done here. He said, I have heard that the New Delhi is saying everybody in Kashmir is happy about this, making Jammu and Kashmir a union territory. Let them lift the curfew and they will know how happy we are. And I'll tell you, it's not just in the valley where there's curfew and the restrictions. There's complete lockdown in Kargil. Right. And they give you a separate union territory without assembly in Ladakh.
Right.
But Kargil, all political groups, religious groups, social groups have formed an joint action committee.
Yes.
And they say they will never be part of the union territory. They want to be part of, united Jammu and Kashmir. Same is the situation in Chenab Valley and Pir Panjal.
Right.
So it is something which is actually boomeranging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sounds worrying, Nazir, but as always, stay safe. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. So let's just actually play you that piece that Nazir sent us from a hospital in Srinagar to give you a sense of what people in Srinagar are going through.
Emergency patient care has been badly hit because of the restrictions in Kashmir and also collapse of communication. Because there's no means of communication. People can talk to their doctor, they can call an ambulance, or they can call a pharmaceutical place. Here all these people have to come with great difficulty, reach hospital because of the curfew restriction. साहब कितना मुश्किल है यहाँ आना?
बहुत मुश्किल है जी, बहुत मुश्किल है. हर जगह नाके लगे हुए हैं, छोड़ते नहीं है, उनको दिखाना पड़ता है कहाँ जाना. हॉस्पिटल आने में भी बहुत दिक्कत है. जगह जगह 10-10, 15-15 फीट के बाद नाके लगे हुए हैं, वो छोड़ते ही नहीं है. ये तो बोल रहे थे भाई हॉस्पिटल आप जा सकते हो, कहीं फोन नहीं कर सकते, एम्बुलेंस नहीं बुला सकते, एम्बुलेंस वालों के साथ कांटेक्ट नहीं कर सकता हूँ. इतनी प्रॉब्लम है सर. ये तो दुनिया की कश्मीरी से एक जहन्नम बन चुका है. जहन्नम के सिवा कुछ नहीं है.
Well, paradise literally turning hell because you cannot even make a phone call. And this man is telling me he has come from Baramulla in North Kashmir. कितनी मुश्किलात हैं?
बारामूला से हमें बहुत मुश्किल से पहुंचे. पैसा नहीं हमारे पास नहीं था. अभी बच्चे को खून कम है. अभी बोलते हैं पैसा लाओ खून करोगे. हम गरीब.
So a very poor man, very poor man. He is trying. So this is the price the people have to pay here. After abolition of the scrapping Jammu and Kashmir special status, a strict curfew has been enforced in the valley. While officially they call it only restrictions under 144, but on the ground, it is the restrictions are further being tightened, and here patients and their attendants are saying how they suffer. Not only physically reaching hospital is a great difficulty, but also making a phone call to the doctor or ambulance service is just not possible. With cameraman Amit, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
Voices there from the valley. We also sent out our reporters in Delhi and cities across India to speak to Kashmiris, especially young Kashmiri students, to understand from them how they viewed the dramatic changes that have now impacted their state, and what they made also of the fact that they are not able to access too much information about what's going on inside. Let's listen.
I didn't know how to react. Like, how do you react to this? Your state is being bifurcated into union territories, and like how actually it's so unprecedented. How do you react to this? All I know is our fundamental rights have been taken away. Like, Kashmir is in a lockdown. And now I think it's going to be pretty bleak. Everything, whatever was separatist is now mainstream, right? And whatever was mainstream, pro-democracy, pro-India, I think they've gone to the fringe now.
In Jammu, people are supporting, they are celebrating Article 370 abrogation. They believe that it's a lot internal conflict also, because they think that Kashmir has always had a dominance over the saying of J&K. But I personally believe that it shouldn't have happened in the name of development. So masking it in the name of development and taking away the people's rights, blocking their communication from the rest of the world.
आप तो 1 करोड़ लोगों का फ्यूचर डिसाइड कर रहे हो और कह रहे हो कि हालात सही हैं, लेकिन फिर आप लोगों को हाउस अरेस्ट करके क्यों रखना चाहते हो? कम से कम उन लोगों से तो पूछो, उन लोगों को तो बोलने दो. और हम पे क्या बीत रही है? हम 3 दिन से अपने घर में बात नहीं कर पा रहे. हमें ये तक नहीं पता है वो जिंदा हैं कि अभी डेड हैं. हमारी भी तो ईद है, हम भी वो सेलिब्रेट करना चाहते हैं. हमारी दिवाली, हम भी दिवाली इंडिया के साथ सेलिब्रेट करेंगे. अगर दिवाली तो हम सेलिब्रेट करेंगे तो हमें बंदी बना के क्यों रखा जा रहा है?
The sort of narrative that BJP is propagating, or RSS has been propagating, and the sort of narrative that's going around in the media that people of Ladakh or people of Jammu are happy with this. If Jammu was happy with it, then why to cut internet services in Jammu? If Ladakh was happy, why are there strikes happening in Ladakh and Kargil? You see, people of Ladakh have passed a resolution. Yes, people of Kargil have passed a resolution yesterday that they do not consider this decision democratic.
लाइफ तो हमारा बहुत तरीके से अफेक्ट हुआ है, जैसे कि जो भी हमारा कम्युनिकेशन हमारे घर में था या जम्मू कश्मीर में जो भी लोग रहते हैं उनके साथ था, वो बिल्कुल डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया। उन्होंने सब इंटरनेट या कॉल वगैरह सब बंद कर दिए है, और हमें उसकी वजह से कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ पता नहीं चल रही है कि हमारे घर वाले ज़िंदा भी हैं या वहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, उसके बारे में हमें कुछ भी नहीं पता है।
ये एक तो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, क्योंकि अगर आप पब्लिक आपके फेवर में नहीं है, जॉब क्रिएशन बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, वो हो नहीं रही है। और इस टाइम लैंड का जो इशू इन्हें बना लिया कि यूनियन टेरिटरी हम बनाएंगे, लद्दाख को अलग करेंगे, कश्मीर को अलग करेंगे, वो क्यों?
Our country was Kashmir, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh. So that is the country before India and Pakistan. So that is what the status was for us to given. So how you feel if it is yours or anybody's in the world, how they feel, what we feel today, I think it will be same for, because we are human beings.
It was after independence that they gave that article which made India and Kashmir together till now. But I think after the government has removed it, it will be very difficult for the people itself to take it, and Kashmir should be known by its own country, like it should be known for its own speciality, not by the government forcing things. The government should be talking to the people there, telling if they are fine with it. It should not be forced.
है अंबर नीला मेरे घर जैसा ना यहाँ, वो अंबर नीला ना नीला वैसा फिर मिला, खोजे छाओ छाओ पंजारा चलो चिनारों के घरों.
All right, okay. I'm joined in the studio here by Dr. Upendra Kaul. He is one of India's best-known cardiologists. He is currently chairman Batra Heart Centre. Thank you very much for being here. Syed Nazakat, journalist, is also here with us, and I'm also joined from Kabul via Skype by Dr. Insha Malik. She's a Kashmiri political theorist and a gender studies scholar. All of you are Kashmiris and are also non-political, which is the idea of this conversation tonight. Let me just start with you, Doctor, because you have posted on Facebook, and I have that here somewhere, but we can actually put that up on the screen. And you've sort of, I think, responded to the news of what has happened in Jammu and Kashmir since the fact that you had this, the sort of revocation of Article 370, and that's the text of what you said. You essentially seem to convey that this is, in a sense, a misstep by India, and that we have lost.
Yeah, I believe that.
Kashmir, at least morally, we've lost Kashmir.
Absolutely. Well, I was there last week. I spent the whole week there, and it all started when the government took a decision to abruptly stop the Amarnath Yatra because of some security threat. Well, we thought it's okay, must be, although one gun and one shell, usually, for big Indian forces is nothing. But then people started evicting tourists from Gulmarg, which doesn't come on the way of Amarnath Ji at all. Right. And then from Dal Lake, houseboats were cleared, hotels were cleared. Right. So there was so much of confusion and panic in the city because everybody thought something is going to happen. Right. Everybody who is not from Kashmir is being asked to go away. Right. And that is the reason people were
and then finally they all discovered what it was. Yeah, so that entire Amarnath attack was almost a kind of smoke screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people in the heart of their hearts probably knew something of this kind is going to happen. But nobody thought that this bombshell would be thrown on Monday morning. Total curfew, total chaos. And I know about it because I got 2 people coming from Srinagar, and I met them yesterday and today. Nobody can walk in the streets. police has been disarmed.
And there's a complete sort of clampdown.
Complete clampdown.
It's important to hear your view on this, because you have been, I mean, though you've been based in Delhi, you have been traveling to the valley now for decades, right?
Very often.
Very often, and you also treat people there.
I have built a house there in the last 4 years, and I go there once in 2 to 3 weeks.
Right. But, you know, it's not just about the sort of the curfew and the clampdown and the information blackout, which is terrible, but at some point that will be lifted. I'm curious to hear your views about the striking down of 370, because the conventional view on that is that while it's something that has angered the valley, Kashmiri pundits, those outside of the valley, people like yourself, would welcome it. But you don't seem to be...
No, I'm not thrilled about it. Well, 1990 was a very bad thing. I was a component of it, although I was in Delhi, but I got a lot of relations who were uprooted, and I tried my best that time to rehabilitate many, put them in my hospitals as employees.
When you say 1990, you mean when the Kashmiri pundits were forced out?
When the Kashmiri pundits had to come out for whatever reason. That is also debatable.
Sure.
Let's forget about that.
Right.
But then, is it revenge now? Is it, you know, what was done in 1990? Are we taking a revenge on Kashmiri Muslims now, or Kashmiris now? That I can't understand, because they are people. There is some, you know, as a doctor, there is some morals. Now this 370 and politics of 370, so many amendments have come in 370.
Sure.
There were hardly very few things left now.
Yes, it's been hollowed out.
It's hollowed out.
It's a fig leaf, as
yes, as Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru would say, "Dheere dheere ghis jayega," which had almost finished.
Right.
So now, problem is that people outside Kashmir and the rest of the country don't even know what is 370 and what is going to come out of. If a Kashmiri today is asked to build a house in Kashmir, who has come out, he will not, because of the security concerns. No Kashmiri is going to invest in business there. How do you expect people from Madras and Bombay and Rajasthan to go
with this kind of halat?
With this kind of halat, it cannot happen.
Right. Dr. Insha Malik, I know you're viewing this from a distance, but do you see this in any, I mean, is there any upside to this? The idea that perhaps, yes, there might be an initial expression of anger and resentment, but at some level, this will sort of bridge or level the gap between Kashmir and the rest of the country, which is the sort of official narrative around this.
Well, unfortunately, I hope I had something positive to say, because what we are witnessing from far away, and also as a scholar who is studying the Kashmir issue for the last 10 years, what I can tell you is that it's a progressive escalation in terms of Kashmir people viewing themselves being demonized by the system. Because if you go back in history and you look at that, it was a separate state, and Kashmiris opted and named to have a separate autonomous or independent state for themselves. And it did, like, I mean, so we do have two dispensations as we speak, and many of us are so unaware that the state, it is highly militarized, it has a record of terrible rights violations, which is internationally recognized. And on top of that, if we went ahead, it's been so atrocious, it's obviously not seen as something in favor of the people. One of the reasons is also because it is contrary to what the opinion is, and we all know what the public opinion is. There are several polls that have been done by different think tanks that more than 80% population in Kashmir supports complete independence.
Right, I think.
And that we also snatch away from them very, hollowed out forms of autonomy.
Right.
I don't see how it could be positive.
Okay. Apologies there also for there's a little bit of an audio lag from Kabul. Syed, so I mean, again, we are still trying to understand what the view in the valley is. I mean, I don't think it's going to be some very surprising view that's going to come out of it. But the bigger concern is it, what form is it going to take? And we all hope it's not going to go down a darker path that it has in the past. But again, it's hard to get a sense at the moment because of the blackout You have some reports, as we just heard Nazir and others reporting, but then you also had this Ajit Doval sort of guided tour, which you know, it was a little,
you know, it's
somewhat incongruous.
It's really, as Dr. was saying, it's really devastating. I think people still, whatever little information we are getting from the state, people still are not able to understand what has been done to them in a stroke of 1 minute, 10 minutes. It's extremely painful to see such a senior high-level official doing a drama on a street when people are locked inside their homes. I think they should really understand that we're living in 21st century. People are watching it. They're people, educated people.
Yes.
The Kashmiris living across the world right now. You can't befool people by telling them nothing has happened. We'll take care of everything. I think they really need to. I think people
think about what they
really at loss to understand what we have, and it's not going to happen. Like if you look at the reaction, people are saying, "Oh, what's going to happen there?" Okay, once this curfew is lifted. If you ask me as a Kashmiri, I think people are absolutely lost. I don't think they will come on roads and kill and die and whatever. It will take generations for us. You know, we're talking about a land which has thousands of years of history.
Right. So you're saying
that state doesn't exist. It is vanished.
Right. So it may not be some kind of immediate explosion of you know, expression of anger or whatever as some are fearing or expecting. It could be something more of a slow burning, simmering phenomenon. Let me just bring in Air Vice Marshal Kapil Kak, retired, who is both a Kashmiri but also obviously someone who understands the defense implications of this. But you know, Air Marshal Kak, the other concern here, and we heard that in some of the voices of these students, is what this does to mainstream political opinion in Kashmir and to mainstream politicians. As Nazir was saying, he couldn't find a single voice in the valley today who is on the side of India. The few that are there are jailed. Eventually, of course, Mehbooba Mufti, Umar Abdullah will come out. Eventually, there will be elections to a union territory, not a state. But what will that really mean to the idea of mainstream politics, you think?
Mainstream politics, Srinivas, is dead in Kashmir. With one blow, one bludgeoning action which has taken place on the 5th of August. I think this is, you need to sympathize with India rather than at this moment be so concerned about Kashmir. Because this dark hour bodes very ill for India. I have worn an Air Force uniform for 40 years. I've been in 2 wars, 65 and 71, bombing operations in both sectors in the latter war. The point to understand is that the India construct, which one was proud of nationally and internationally, is now gone for a toss. We are living through a dark period. We have actually witnessed a watershed moment by which assaults have been made on the Kashmiri people. They have been bludgeoned totally. They are stunned. They don't know how to react. They didn't expect this. Maybe they expected some changes in 35A, but this knocks the bottom of the relationship, emotional and psychological, political and moral, ethical, every dimension between India and Kashmir. The bridge is destroyed. There is no connection. I think let's make clear. I mean, we are talking tactically. This is the classical Indian rope trick of tactical transactionalism. That's what we are doing. Oh, the curfew will be lifted. Somebody will do a drama on a street. My God, you don't know what we have done to Kashmir. And this is majoritarian India, unaccepting of the fact that there is a minority in India but majority in one state of Kashmir.
Right.
Not accepting that.
Yes.
So you do 3 things with one blow.
Yes.
You firstly, I mean, everyone knows state to union territory. Your mainstream leaders who held the flag of India. Srinivas, you're not aware that in 30 years, 8,000 National Conference workers have died for India in Kashmir.
No,
what do you do to
the
conference leaders?
We've actually reported on that.
Common criminals.
We're out of time, unfortunately. I hate to cut you off, but I'm told we're out of time. But I think this was a good start. And let's do this soon, and let's do this again. Let's get all of you, or as many of you, back and continue to hear the voices of Kashmir. But that's all the time we have, at least on tonight's show. So thank you so much for watching. Good night.